And the code's up on the board for the live stream to you guys'. Oh, you're crazy, right? That's all the link. I saw the link last night, pulled it up. Didn't get a chance to really look at it much, but yeah, saw it. Base is done for it, so just base layout, really. And I think, you know, I'm sure they'll have some minor suggestions for it. Oh yeah, yes, do that. Yeah, put in the issue there or the task. Just add it to that. That'd be good.
I'll still be working here, so
Oh,
that way I'll be pull it out. But I'll give them something to look at it.
yeah, yep.
See kind of like got some questions.
Yeah, because we've got what, Monday, right? Monday. I have Monday right then. I think so. I don't know.
26, right?
26 of the Monday. Yeah. Yep. We got from what, 4 or 5? Yep. Yeah. If I couldn't do Wednesday, you could do girls who code, and Friday I can't do them in block because it's in school for third graders who code. Monday's it.
All right.
All I got.
Next.
What?
Monday.
Yeah, Monday 45. Yeah, instead of Wednesday. We're just doing Monday. It's all I got to work for me. But you know, as we get going, there's no reason why it has to be Monday. It's gonna be something that you could meet with what's his name at another day or whatever. But yeah, we'll play by ear. So, and Brandon did submit his, I believe. So I've still got mine yet to finish up for the weekend. My foundational one. Yeah. I'm not worried about it. Huh? Yeah. It's not going to be anything fancy. I can tell you that much. I never got all the data for, that I asked for, so I'm just going to put together a menu structure that I think that we'll use. I'll pull in a dummy grid with some data in it that I think is going to be used. Plus, and that's about it. So I'm not going to go beyond that. Hey, how's it going? But last time I talked to him, they were he was swamped, and so like we are. So you know, he's doing it on his free time as well, which is very little. So
I wanted to ask you about the prior continent work thingy.
So what is it now?
For the homework.
Yeah. The Tri-Kotlin. We'll go over it. Yeah.
Like you wanted us to do the taxes, the class for taxes and all that?
Yeah.
Like isn't your example already the answer?
Probably. More than likely.
It's saying that when we need to output,
Well, I'll probably source the answer, didn't I? Let me see here.
So I wasn't sure what else.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Don't look at the answer. Let's see here. I think I might have more contacts than what I asked you to do, I believe, but that's about it. Or maybe not. Let me see. Yeah, we got 3 contacts. I should do 5. So, well, I have you name it something, my contact instead of contact. So, yeah, there's a few things you got to do different. But what I have in there, ID, phone, email, website. On the example, I've got ID, email, phone. So I guess you do have to add a few extra
Oh,
little.
I'm talking about, which one are you looking at? Which, talking about 7-6.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. Sorry. Oh, from last week. Okay. I was talking about this week. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that one I did sourced it. I know I did. I had quite a few questions on that one, so I just sourced it. Yeah. So add an extra challenge to yourself. Make some new changes to that or something. I don't care. It's just for practice anyway. To try Kotlin is so yeah. This is plugged in on the other side if you need it, and now you already saw the little big wire here, so just be careful. But hopefully, when what's name come in, he'll be able to plug in on this side a little easier, and you're closer to the front. He's closer to the front with his wheelchair, so hopefully that'll work.
Yeah, I usually charge. I should really bring it on for you.
Yeah, yours was usually charged up, I believe, right? Yeah. Mine is today, but wasn't last week. So, Amy's she had to plug hers in. Yeah, her laptop's about to dead. Yeah.
I need a new battery.
Yeah. It's one of those where you have to plug it in to use it all the time.
No. I just need a new battery.
Okay.
It's failed. And the battery is inside the computer.
Oh, really?
So you have to open it up.
Oh man, what brand is that?
Alienware.
Yeah, Alienware does that. Yep. They usually last a while though.
Yeah, it did.
You can get it on Newegg. You can get the new battery on Newegg fairly cheap and a good return policy. Yeah, that's what I recommend.
Because I called Dell and it's like.
Nah. No, don't do that. That's right. Dell bought Alienware, didn't they? Forgot about that.
Yeah, thankfully they don't use Dell parts in most of it anymore.
Well, good.
They have their own separate lines for them.
Good. Yeah, because Alienware is pretty solid. So buy it through Newegg, and if it's in a lemon or something, you can get the return pretty quick. So, in fact, a lot of times they'll send you the new one before you've even returned the old one. So, not many places do that. So, yeah, they're pretty solid company.
Weber Grill. So if anything breaks in the Weber Grill, they'll send you.
Oh yeah, it's crazy, right? Yeah, good customer service, man. It's really good. Yeah, a parent of his sons wanted to build a computer himself, and I, gave him a link to Newegg because they have tons of kits you can buy to build your own PC, plus with the instructions. And then again, if any parts are bad, you can get the money back. So.
You ever go on Udemy?
On what?
Udemy?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was looking at it. I use it all
Yeah,
the time.
I taught. I have out there still. Not in a while. It's an old PHP class. I haven't updated there for a while. But yeah, it's a good platform.
Yeah.
It is a good platform.
Yeah, I bought an iOS course, more in depth.
Yep.
Course that
And there's a really popular Android one out there as well.
Yeah. I bought it.
Yeah, it's like it was on sale a while back for like $10 or something.
I bought.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, different stuff. I'm just so much I want.
Oh, it's an awesome resource. It's a great resource. It's a great resource. I've used it quite a bit.
And I bought the Kotlin Android one on there too. So
Yeah.
I'm taking that one.
Yep. Ray Wenderlich just updated his site. You're familiar with him. He updated his site with some newer Kotlin tutorials. Yeah, he must have hired a new person to help, but because before they just did Java, but now they're starting to do Kotlin.
Yeah,
so.
actually, no, I think that course.
Yeah, the one through Ray's site?
Yeah,
it's good. It's good.
Because they reference Java a lot.
Yep.
He said he had the same course, they just switched over.
They switched to Kotlin. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the course.
It's a really good resource, though. Can't go wrong with it. Yeah, there's some really good resources out right now. And it's nice because I know, like on Ray's site, you see, like when Kotlin updates or whatever, they'll have to change, which I have to do a lot too. So I have to change their tutorials to update it. But they keep it up. And I think I have a couple triggers set on mine on his site to where whenever a new update comes out, I'll get a notification on my browser. So on the Chrome web browser. So yeah, it works pretty good. But yeah, whatever, I'm the same way. I use a lot of resources. I use a lot of resources. There's nothing wrong with that. Because everybody's going to teach it a little bit better sometimes, and also a little different slant.
Yeah. So it's like,
yeah, and you'll grab a little bit from bit from everything. So I think so. That's how I do it.
About HTML 1.2. Well, I haven't started that one yet because I have like 10 total that I bought when they were on sale.
Oh
so
yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah.
So like all different coding ones.
Yeah, and when you teach on there, it's really difficult because they just harp on you a lot to offer the $10 or $5 special,
Yeah.
which you do, which you have to do if you want to teach on it, you have to do it.
Yeah.
The problem is if you don't do it in their time frame, you get dinged on the percentage. Yeah, which well, it is what it is, but. Because I always wanted to do it more for not really to make much money at it. It was just to get it out there. Because I put one there, and I put one out on iTunes, a public site, their public course. Put one out there. I think my PHP course on that is like 8,500 users on that one. So, yeah. But I only update it about every year and a half.
I don't have my phone with me. So is
Oh, your QR?
Yeah.
You can use mine.
Okay.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, I'll scoot you up, and the thing's plugged in, and you can use the power on this side here. If you don't mind, just don't go this way here because they got a cord going across the floor.
Yeah.
You'll have to go to the right. Cool. Yeah, you can use my phone. And make sure and grab a handout if you didn't already when you came up here. The first few of you got a color handout. No, I'll have you put in your S number and you know how to do that. Cool. Thanks, sir. And I've got the code up on the board to get my monitor on your screen. Make sure and click that bottom green button when you log in, as always. Moment. Other side of the table. I've already pulled it out for you. The piece of plastic right here. Should be a whole bunch of power ports here. Should work. Power that brick. Turn on the light. Turn on. Make sure you got this. Make sure we don't step on the switch here on accident. Let's turn on there. Let's try another.
Yeah, it's already on there. I saw it. I don't know exactly what it's called. It's like a 2-hour. Maybe it's 12. Yeah, I sent you the price. But the principal was out.
No. You want out?
We have an extension.
Not the one I'm saying. I'm saying there used to be manual.
There you go. This is a better power report anyway. You use this.
It's not video, it's video.
Here you go. This or not. Take your splitter. That work for you? All right. Cool. All righty. Thanks, appreciate it. I try to help. It didn't work. Yeah, exactly. All right, I got Paul, Jesus, Amy, and Alex logged in to see my screen. When I see everybody logged in, we'll get started here. And the code's on the board there for you. And make sure you got a handout. We'll jump right into that here in just a second. Yeah, here you go. Make sure you click on the bottom green button, the web button, not the install button above that. And did everybody get a handout? Okay, while those are getting logged in to see my screen, tonight we're gonna do on the end class another toast example. Also next week starts the instance, multi-page app next week after that, we're doing a gaming app. And so that's a couple weeks coming up, and I've not put live the rest of them. Make sure last week was, I believe, the week we had you submit your final app idea. We went over that. You can start working on that. You know, if nothing else, start the foundation of the main page and what you want the layout to be, and at least start with that, whether it be title, maybe a picture, maybe some information about what the app's going to do. This week we're covering, like I said, notifications and toast. Next week, multi-activities, multi-page. Week 9 is going to be on, I don't have that turned on yet, but it's going to be on, I can show you here on my screen anyway. This one's going to be on a game I called Whack-A-Android. Yeah, kind of like the Whack-A-Mole game. You'll be doing a Whack-A-Android game with a scoreboard. And so there'll be an image of an Android popping around the screen, and you'll have to tap the image. I think I have it set initially at every half a second or something it'll move, or maybe every second it'll move, and then you can speed it up each level. And so we'll talk about that and play with that a little bit. But tonight we're going to rehash the toast, also the layout. And in front of you is the step-by-step. I'll show you on my screen. Oh, and just a reminder before we get started, on the resources link in our class, the code helps. At the bottom of that has the snippets for the hiding keyboard snippet, if you need it, if you want to use that. But I'll go ahead and go over the app here, and then we'll have you go at it. It'll look like the last person here joined. All right, so a blank canvas, starting out with adding in an edit text, a button, code-wise, having in here declaring the objects, which is the text and the button. What I'd recommend tonight is see if you at least initialize your objects by memory without looking at this code sheet to see if you can remember that. The one you've not used a lot is the request focus. That one you'll probably need to look at, but try to do the binding without looking. And then you can look when you need to. On the set on click listener, the first thing inside of that, you are showing the message by concatenating the string and variable. Remember, when you're concatenating strings in in Kotlin, you start out with a string, and then like in this here, open quote, the message is end quote or colon, space, $, left bracket, the name of the object, .txt, .toString, left and right parentheses, bracket, and then end quote. Also, I put in here a note on the comment, adding a toast message. Do not type in the grayscale text, context, and text. It'll do it for you. So when you do a toast.make text, left parentheses, type in the word this, it'll automatically put in before that the word context with the colon, comma, just string, concatenated string, it'll put in there for you the gray text, text, colon. And then the last comma argument is toast dot length underscore long, right parentheses, space dot show. And it's important to put this space here after the right parentheses. Hiding keyboard then's called, clearing the text message is called. Then lastly, refocusing back on the text message object with the dot request focus. In the fun keyboard function on line 35, the IMM dot hide off input from window, left parentheses current focus, exclamation dot window token, comma, flags, colon, you do not need to type in, you just type in 0, and the compiler will type in flags for you. Make sure I would start out with, like on your handout on this Kotlin page, doing your imports first, and then starting your code second. So if you look at your handout with me real quick, on the second page, you get the fancy numbers with my pen because it dropped the little circles. But so what you're doing first is adding your edit text object, which is a plain text object, naming it txt message, clearing out the text property, and in the hint property, you're putting in enter message, and you're going to place it right at the top of the first horizontal snap guide, which I'll show you here on my screen right now, actually. So if you look on my screen, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my constraints to show you what I'm talking about. So when I click on this edit text, you'll notice it snaps right there. That's where you want to put it. All right, it'll snap right there at the top. Snap is where you want to set it at. And then number 2, notice where it says choose pack horizontal. Choose pack horizontal is right up here. And you only have the option to pack it horizontally or vertically. You'll choose the horizontal. And then the button. And well, by the way, just so you know what I'm doing, every time you move an object in Kotlin, it's going to constrain it. You'll have to click on the remove constraints. Another trick, by the way, just so you know, when you're wanting to isolate an object here on your form, if you click on the constraint layout over here versus the form, you're going to be able to isolate it much better when it comes to moving that object. All right. So on this button, though, you want to basically move it again where it's in the middle. The guide will show up, and just a little bit. I don't want it to snap up there. I want it a little bit below the snap, which is fine. And then what I do is basically I'll select everything once I move everything, and I will do a remove like I have on number 4, clear all constraints. Then finally, infer the constraints, which will bring it back into focus on what you need. Now, I'll just show you here real quick, too, while you're looking to this. When you click on your objects, like the top object, notice on the right side here on the constraints, this is basically what the infer is doing. It increments it, you'll notice, by 8. It starts out at 0 and then goes to 8, 16, 24, 32. Same thing on the left and the right margins as well on the constraint. It'll always do that for you. But I just wanted to show you that way. If you needed to ever manipulate it slightly, you could do it there versus trying to drag it with your mouse. And on the button, the same thing. It only has an 8 in between the button and the edit text. Everything else is 0 on the left and right. And the bottom does not have a constraint for that one. All right, so that's that page I wanted to help you with. Then if you flip to page 3 at the top is disregard the text because it's the same text on page 2, but the numbers are at least right. You're going to do your imports first, then declare your variables second, bind your objects. Number 3, focus in on the text message. 4, the set on click listener. When you do that one, remember when you do the dot set on click listener, it'll automatically put in the left and right parentheses. Get rid of that and put in the left and right brackets. All right. Then you're going to go jump right into the toast.make text, left parentheses. Remember, do not type in context. Do not type in text. It'll do that for you. The first argument on make, by the way, is the word this, which is this object, which is the form, this toast form. Second argument is a string, which we've concocted. Third argument is basically the length of whatever string it is that you put in there is going to be the time that the toast shows up. Left right parentheses, space dot show, left and right parentheses on that one. Everything else is self-explanatory in that one up to the end of that function. Then number 5 on the fun high keyboard, again on line 35, make sure and do not type in flags. It'll do it for you after you type in 0 in the second argument. Make sense? Then finally on number 4, you will enter in your wonderful text message or your testing time. Enter in your message, tap the submit button, and see the toast show up and focus. It'll basically, once it does that and you hit the submit button, it'll hide the keyboard, clear the text message, and then focus back on the text message. All right. Questions before you get started? All right, go and get started, and I'll leave my screen up here, and you can go back to it. If you want to, I'll actually leave it on the code screen maybe. Might be helpful. That way, if you can't read the handout, you can go back to my code screen and maybe see it a little bit easier than on the handout sometimes. All right, and I'll just kind of walk around, see if I can help you. And hopefully this week you'll get comfortable with the laying out of objects and also at least binding the objects. Try when you bind those objects in the PNT file to not look at the code. Try to see if you can remember how to do it, how to declare. And remember on variables, I've already taught you guys, when I declare variables, I declare the variable in the KT file as the same name as the object. So var, whatever the object name is, equal, and just start with the find, the word find, lowercase f. It'll complete it for you. Then you just have to remember what object type it is, and the r.id dot whatever the object name is. So try to do that at least by memory if you can. By this time you should be able to do that. Hopefully, should be able to do at least that part by memory. You maybe challenge yourself. Maybe you try to do the on-click listener by memory as well. See if you can remember that. Again, most of you can remember the keywords like, it's an on-click event. So searching for that after the dot operator will help a lot. Share that. About 15 minutes ago.
When you talked about snapping in there, just looking for this one.
No. See, you already have a constraint in there. Get rid of the constraint altogether. All right. You know, click and hold it, and then drag it out, and you'll feel it snap. It's not real, you know, it's not going to stop your wrist.
No, no.
You know, you'll feel it.
Yeah.
And you'll actually see a guide at the top of that name.
That's what I was looking for.
You'll see a guide. You'll see like a vertical guide or a horizontal guide at the top of that.
Sometimes
at
it's
a
hard to
text.
see this.
It is hard to see.
Just look for the guide or the snap.
Yeah, when you look at when you guys are dragging that edit text up, look for that guide at the top. That will help as well. But a lot of you, depending on your mouse if you're using, you might not be able to snap this. It's predominant as I showed you. Fine. Okay. Updating. Oh, an SDK. It's all in the SDK. Now, do you have your device with you tonight or no? Oh, I can't do that. Let's see if I've got mine in my bag. Gee, you know, I brought it like 2 weeks, remember, after that. The one night, 2 nights show, I don't have it.
That was another question I had for you. Mine, I was charging it. It was at like 70-something when I want to charge it, but it's not coming on anymore. I want to charge it, and I plugged it. It's nothing.
Did you have an app running in the background while it was running? Well, how long did it go before it died? The 70%.
When I went to unplug it and I looked at it, I noticed, because usually it'll light up again.
Yeah. Yeah, because the one at the house I've got, it'll keep, depending on what you're doing.
It doesn't even turn on. There's nothing.
But it's totally dead though, right?
No, it shouldn't be dead because when I went to charge it, it was already at 70-something%.
But have you tried to plug it in tonight?
Yeah.
What's it say on the chart?
It doesn't say anything. It doesn't show anything.
Does it recognize the chart?
No, I'll do it again here, but I mean, I was at school over there when I was doing it. Thought I'd bring it up. Didn't know if
Yeah,
it
no,
was
it has
just-
to happen.
yeah. We'll try it again here.
Yeah,
See what happens.
because I know those lithium batteries, they can get so dead that it might take 5-10 minutes
Oh,
to
yeah,
turn
I don't
on.
never let it get that low.
Okay.
Like I said, it was 70-something%.
Huh.
So,
That's weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see here.
I got mine. Are you trying to charge with your USB port? 'Cause that's not gonna do much charge.
Yeah.
You try to plug it in the wall.
Even if you still should see
Not if it's totally dead, you won't. Not the lithium battery's totally sucked out. Right, it won't.
which it shouldn't. At school, it was already 70-something%.
You don't know.
Yeah, so that's what I didn't know.
Mm-mm. No, not.
Can we test these on Android?
Yep, make sure to email it to yourself. We'll have to do the export APK and email it to yourself. You want to plug that in on the power supply?
Yeah,
sure.
just to
Let's
see.
do that.
Yeah, because I don't
charge what. Just give me your cord and I'll charge it that way.
Thank you.
All right. While you guys are doing this, I think I'm going to slip out and go get your Android. How's that? It'll take about 5 minutes to do it. Get this plugged in here. Okay, I'll be right back. All right. There we go. Wow. Michael, oh, sorry. Some other quartz, Mike.
Okay.
Maybe quart bad.
Yeah, maybe that.
And did you try a reset? Power button and then the up volume does a reset. Power button, volume down does a hard reset. It will reset the OS. Did you try that? Okay.
There's also
Volume. All right, we're restarting. Did a reset. Volume up. Power.
So that works.
Yep. Well, so far, I'll tell you what's happening here. I don't want to wipe it. So,
Well, wire.
and we might have to wipe it too, by the way. I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to. But at least it'll be up and going.
Yeah.
Let me write that on the board for you guys. On a reset, if you ever have your tablets lock up on any Android device, actually, it's power button plus up sound will do what's called a reset. It'll just reset the OS and the hardware. And then if you do power down, this is going to allow you to reset the fact. So power up will reset just a normal reset, and power down reset the device after you're home. Let's see what we got going here, Mike. Charging at 89%.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't good.
Here we go.
I appreciate
Yep.
it.
That makes sense on the reset thing?
Yeah.
That happens on all devices.
Okay.
Yep. That?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, did I give you that? Did you give me that power cord there or something?
This is
White.
part. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How's everybody doing with the app? Okay. And if you don't have your Droid, you can save it as an APK and put it on Appinator. Test it that way as well. And for the in-class, you're also committing it to GitHub for practice. Also commit it to the Appinator or the Appinator website. Not Appinator. You know what I'm talking about. Thank you. That one, the live link demo. So make sure and do that. Any issues? Any issues with it? Okay. Now, just as a challenge for this one, if you want, now we're going to do the double activity, or actually do 2 activities next week. But if you want to go into the modules for the class and then go up to code helps, when you go home this week, a challenge for you would be between now and next week on the in class, add another page another page to your app and follow the steps at the bottom of this code helps on creating a new activity page. Start there, where it walks you through how to right click on the layout, add new activity, blank activity, then you add navigation for that activity in the what's called the Android manifest.xml. You need to basically add in the fact that, like for instance, if your activity 2 is going to always be called main 2 activity, and you would make the main activity the parent. When you do that, and you also add in basically all the bolded information in that main 2 activity. When you go into your code for the new activity, you'll basically and run the app. So you put a button to go to that activity. On number 4 here, on adding the code to the new activity page in the main activity.kt file, you'll basically import it by sending it to what's called the word intent. The method intent allows you to take this, which is that activity, and then push it to that activity you're wanting to go to, which is main activity 2. And then you can do what's called start activity, and it'll send you to that by the button. And by the way, if you don't bind it correctly on the navigation, those of you at iOS anyway know this. When you go to a second page in iOS, it's called a segue. It allows you to go back to the prior page. This one actually puts it in there for you. You don't have to put a back button in there. Android will put it in there for you. If you code it right and make the child a child and a parent, you can go back to that main activity page by just that code snippet. Starting again with the create new activity page all the way down should walk you through how to maybe use what we did tonight and add in a new activity, go to that activity page and come back. Make sense? And so just try it out. We will be, and I already have the code in there for the in GitHub for week after next, or actually next week and week after both. We're going to do main couple activity pages. So because that's when you really start being able to create multi-page apps, which you're going to use in all your apps mainly. And so that's a challenge for you. As far as your assignment this week, you are playing with Try Kotlin, and it is different than the example, but not much different. Okay, on the example, you're basically creating a Try Kotlin program called Week 7, creating a class called My Contacts. It takes in the arguments ID, phone, email, website. Declarable in the main to create your first contact, then display it second, all the way to the 5th contact. And here's what the example looks like. Basically, I have one less variable in the class than I'm requiring for your homework. In the class, I have, I believe, 3 variables, which is ID, email, which is a string, ID is an int, and phone is a string. And you'll note in the declaration of each contact, like on line 7, contact 1, 9, contact 2, and 11, contact 3, you notice I put them in different order in the call to that class. I put in there contact 1, then email, then phone, contact 2 up, 2, email, phone, 3, email, phone. And then notice so on the print here, I can change them around if I want to whatever I want to do, and then it'll print it out according to how I've sent it. And so pretty simple concept on classes and how they're used. You can definitely, we'll get more into detail classes, but that's just the beginning of it. So for your take home, you're adding one more field to your class, and you are displaying that class accordingly. And I'll go ahead and run this one to show you. So just display what you're printing out and when you're calling the class. That's it. Questions on that, on your homework assignment? Again, the challenge is you can add more to the class. You can add more detail as far as, and again, this is just a playground for you anyway. So, but you have one more requirement for the homework, and it's in the example. Somebody asked me, is it exactly the same example? No, you have to add one more assignment to that operator. And then after that, your discussion question for week 7. And I would recommend starting at least your foundation for your Android app for your final this week, since you'll have time. And I will kind of look ahead for next week and the week after to kind of tell you what's coming up. Next week is we'll start with the multi activities. I believe I have that in class. Yeah, this week, next week we'll create an activity and send a message to it. I'll show you the example here. And again, it just has 2, the main and main 2. And so this is the main activity. Sends it. Now you'll see up here at the top, the arrow on my screen, back to week 8. It's going back to the main. It does that for you, by the way, when you code in that XML file accordingly, and tell the Kotlin that, by the way, this is a child page. You're now going back to the parent page. Unlike iOS, where you have to put in the back button, Android, you do not have to do that. It does it for you with the XML page. All right, make sense? Which I actually like that feature. First, I think it's a cool feature to be able to do that. Now it's a little trickier to globally see what you're doing, unlike iOS, because you're in iOS, you can see everything in a storyboard fashion. Here you're seeing things linear, but at the same time, once you understand how to throw one activity from another and back, everything else is downhill as far as how to get to that. And you can do it by a button, you can do it by a picture, you can do it by however you do it from activity to activity. And so anyway, we'll start that on week 8. And then week 9, we actually do the Wacka Android. So I'll pull that one up. Let's see. I think we do that in the class as well, maybe. Yeah, so on this one here, you have a start button, an image that has an Android image that randomly shows up on the screen. If you tap the Android image, you get 100 points. If you tap the page, the background page without the icon of the Android image, you get subtract 100. If the score equals 1,000, show you 1 and 0 it out and hide the image button. If you tap stop, it stops the images from randomly showing up. And so I'll show you a live preview there. And a very simplistic game using randomization and screen location, but at least it's the beginnings of something you could use for some type of simple game. So anyway, here's a start, and you'll see that Android starts showing up here in a second. I think I have it showing up every second or something like that. So you can click multiple, but if you click away, whoop, back to 0. Didn't move fast enough. This is very slow on this simulator. So we'll try to add a few more points here on this next one here. There we go. And then, one of the challenges would be you can create multiple levels and speed it up. When it reaches 1,000 point, maybe level 2, take it from 1 second to maybe 3/4 of a second, something like that. And then I'll purposely click the background away and show you what it does here. It'll decrease that score till the game's over at 0. Okay, so that's just a few weeks ahead of time of what we'll be doing. Again, I would devote at least a couple hours a week on your final app, because it will creep up on you between now and the end of the semester on having time to play with it. And I believe in week 6, to refresh your memory on what's needed for that final app, you can go into week 6, and there is a choose final app. This last week, I just had to submit, I believe, the name, the description, the target audience, and the app type, and that was it. But the requirement is going to be pretty minimal, at least 3 instances, validation of some type on your fields, data connection, which we'll learn here in a few weeks, 2 or more functions, 1 class or more, and then your code hosted on GitHub and web page on GitHub. Questions on that? So you guys look pretty excited tonight, even though I had to run all the way to the house to get my Android. I come back, you guys are like, oh, well, I'm done. All right. So anyway, on the reset, if these things do poop out, which Mike's did, and that can happen, again, the power up sound will do a plain reset, which will just restart the device. Okay, they call it a hard reset, a hard reset or a soft reset. The hard reset is the power button down volume. It'll actually, they did change the OS. It used to just wipe it out immediately. Now, like on Mike's, because I push a down arrow on accident, down volume button, it'll give you a menu on your screen to choose. One of the top menus is just to reboot. Then it gives some other options. One of them is wipe, clean, and restart. And so sometimes you might need to do that if your device is totally pooched out. So it does give you a safeguard in the menu now to where it doesn't automatically wipe it. So that's kind of good. I like that. So any questions? Make sure before you leave that you have at least submitted to me the APK and the Appinator. I know some of you do the GitHub later. If you're doing GitHub in here, make sure that you upload it via the way we've showed you how to do it. But for sure, before you leave, the Appinator, get that done. And that's it. That's all I need you to do before you leave. And then you can do the rest later as far as at home to do the Appinator or the GitHub repo. And what else? And some students actually are uploading their GitHub repo by zipping their file and uploading it into GitHub. You can do that as well if you wanted to. I don't care. You can create a repo in GitHub and just upload a zip file. You can definitely do that. And then each session, when you work on that code, you just upload the latest and greatest zip file from that session. And so you can definitely do that if you're having issues with a local GitHub on your machine here in the classroom, which you might have. Okay, makes sense? All right. Well, if you have any questions, come see me. Otherwise, see you next week. Android out. Make sure and work on your final lap. If you have questions on your final lap or need help with your final lap, don't wait till like week 11 to ask me for help. Ask me now that you know you're going to need help on whatever, and I'll be more glad to help you. Okay? Give you code snippets or whatever it is you might need. Because you have some great ideas. We'll go over actually everybody's final lap ideas next week. I have a handout I'm creating for it that you can kind of see what everybody's doing. Will be kind of nice. So, all right, that's all I got. Otherwise, see you later, and don't let the door hit you in the butt on the way. Oh man, I was there like 55 miles an hour in the parking lot. I thought I was going to get stopped by police, but I didn't. It's like, come around that corner. Anybody got stopped by the police, RBC police before, by the way? Okay, Terry has. I have too, Terry, so that's all right. Yeah, that's all right. That happens.
Years ago.
Yeah. I was told to slow down. I didn't get a ticket, thankfully, but
I was doing 45 on that access or that road around, not even paying, and never mind.
Yeah. I was actually doing 45 on the parking lot. It's just too fast to do that. Yeah, that's not safe. Don't recommend that one. He wasn't too happy with me, but I haven't done that since then. Well, hey, you still liking your 10? Yeah, hot dog place is pretty awesome, right?
What's that?
What'd you guys have at the hot dog place the other night when I saw you?
I had that Sp18 dog.
Oh yeah, you know I had a Polish sausage and sauerkraut. Oh my gosh.
Sauerkraut, so that would be what.
Yeah, you wouldn't like it then. And plus, they don't serve it like I'm from New York, and they on the crowd dogs they heat the sauerkraut. They don't heat it; it's cold.
Well, it's a California place.
Yeah, exactly. And so a number of people that come in there that want that ask them to heat it up, which they'll do.
Yeah.
But they're not. They don't do it by default.
Yeah, my hot dogs were cold that night. So
Oh, really?
Place, yeah.
Oh.
Fun. But they took care of it. So
Yeah.
They give us
free
entree for the next time.
So there you go. Oh, and by the way, we saw the movie that night that you guys just
Black Panther?
Yeah, Black Panther. Yeah, it was awesome. I was really impressed with it. Yeah.
So as long as that's submitted, do we need anything else?
No, you're good. Sir.
Yeah, but it was good. Those hot dogs were good.
It's a little pricey for Rockford.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, I think it was with the drink and dog and whatever it was. $10, $11, $12 per person. Is that right?
For
$10, about $10, right?
It was 33 for us to eat there. That was both of us getting tots, both of us getting a beer, and both of us getting
Okay, you got beer. Gotcha. Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. It's
but if you
it's on the
dropped
high
beer
end.
out, it would have been 20 something. So
Yeah, yeah. That's about what it cost us, 20 something, I believe it was. But yeah, it was funny. You know, right across the street, you got steak and cheese. You can buy a whole plate for $5.
I get a place out of house at home for $30.
Oh, exactly right. Yeah, you eat all week.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll see you, buddy.
No,
Yeah,
it's
but
good.
overall, I like the quality of their hot dogs. It's really good.
I'll definitely be back. Probably once it's warm
Yeah.
and I can sit outside.
Well, I noticed that time of night because it was like 9 or 10ish, right? You know, it looks like manager types are gone probably at that time,
Yeah.
and you just got, because I noticed it was kind of lackadaisical a
Yeah.
little bit, but yeah,
Yeah, and it took forever to get food. Food was
yeah, it did take a long time.
I was now to get my replacement hot dogs.
That was quick. Okay.
quick.
Yeah, yeah,
And I know they didn't just like reheat it because we both had taken a bite out of ours, so we would have known.
yeah, right. Yeah, you can't just throw that one back on the grill. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that was actually the second time. Carolyn, that's the first time she'd been there. I think she just got she got the chili burger. She got a burger, and the burgers are kind of like White Castle.
okay, so they're like sliders.
Yeah, kind of like sliders, right? And then they have the Hawaiian buns with it. So
Yeah, the Sp18 that we had was a hot dog, cheese, garlic aioli, and bacon.
oh, okay.
It was really
Yeah, that does sound good. That sounds good. Yeah, we'll be back. But yeah, it is a little pricey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's in a bad spot. That's why Ruby Tuesday's closed.
Yeah, yeah.
It's such a pain.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. And we liked Ruby Tuesdays too, but it was good food.
I never ate there because it was a pain to get that.
Yeah, yeah. It had a good salad bar. It really
Yeah.
good salad bar. But yeah, it wasn't a bad spot. It was kind of bad how that guy closed it. It didn't give the workers evidently no notice, and they just they showed up for work the next day, and we're closed.
Oh, that's shitty.
Yeah, yeah,
That's so shitty.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah. But anyway, it's a good place. Found a new spot. So,
I like Buddy's Burgers just over there.
oh yeah, 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 definitely.
Best
Yeah,
burger around.
really good.
Here.
Yeah, that's a really good spot. Yeah. Yeah, and they cook everything fresh. It's all from scratch. And I was sad when they got the barbecue place. They shut down.
Okay.
Yeah, that was really good.
Smoking Coops is the only barbecue around here that I eat.
Okay,
It's on State in between Belvedere and Rockford.
okay.
Really good. It's cash only, and it's only in the summertime.
Ooh, there you go. Oh, that's right. It's right there off of the main drag there, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we've been there a number of times. Yeah,
Yep.
I just go by and pick up a slab of ribs or something.
They're try one of their baked potatoes. They're loaded baked potatoes.
Okay.
It's pulled
See you,
pork,
Jack.
cheese, sour cream, and
Yeah.
it's good potato.
Yeah, it's really good because if I remember right, it's kind of like family run.
Yep.
With grandpa, grandma, and the kids, grandkids, all the good stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
they're
it's,
really good.
yeah.
There's a bar in Belvedere that's got the best burgers around.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's
What's the
called
name of it?
Busch Gardens.
Okay.
Do you know where the old Manly Motorsports store
Yeah,
used to be?
yeah.
The old one. It's right across the street from the store.
Okay. Yeah.
Tore down. So
Yeah.
it's state and state.
Stay. Yeah. 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 I'll have to try
It's
that.
pretty good. It's like
Yeah.
$10 for a burger, and it's hand patted, 3rd pound cooked to order.
Oh, wow.
So
Cool. Cool.
I'm there way too frequently.
Yeah. That's all right. That's all right.
All right.
All right,
Catch you
man.
later.
We'll see you later.
I
Next week you start, or
I starts this Sunday.
you start on Sunday? All right. Cool.
I
All right,
will
bud.
get my stuff uploaded.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
I had a question. You know, on week 8, you said that you don't have to code like the back button.
Yeah.
So if you had say like that page led to another page, would you have to code it to go to the back of the main page, or would it?
You would code it, right? Correct.